Hello, my name's Sheehan, and today I'd like to talk about Dvorak's 8th Symphony in G major. And I'd like to go through this work exploring the structure of each of the 4 movements. I am one of these people who does like to know where I am in a piece of classical music, and I find it very enriching to follow the form as I listen to a piece. So if you're like that, hopefully this video is helpful for you. Now, Dvorak's 8th Symphony was written in 1889, 4 years after the 7th Symphony, and it was premiered in Prague in 1890. And it's just one of the most tuneful symphonies ever written. It's just full of great melodies. You know, as is often the case with classical music, sometimes people can be a bit snooty with good melodies. You know, Tchaikovsky sometimes suffers with that as well. And, you know, Brahms, who was a big supporter of Dvorak, he said that there are too many fragmentary, unimportant things jostling around in it. Everything is refined, musically captivating and good, but the important things are missing. Well, I don't know what symphony he was listening to, but I mean, this music is just absolutely wonderful. And I've loved this symphony from when I was a kid. I remember playing it in the youth orchestra, and I just fell in love. I just thought it was such romantic, spellbindingly beautiful music. And as I said, the melodies are just glorious. And it's always been one of my favourite symphonies. It's in G major, but the first movement begins in G minor. We have this Exposition. The first movement's in sonata form, and but it doesn't sound like it's in sonata form. The Exposition almost sounds like an introduction to an opera overture or something. Maybe that's what Brahms and others were getting at. But we'll begin with this stirring melody in the cellos, which goes like this. In G major. Really beautiful melody, just gets you there every time you hear that. A bit like the beginning of the 9th Symphony actually, another glorious melody. And then in this this complex of wonderful tunes in this first subject group, we have this bird call, which we hear in the flutes first of all. And then the third idea, we feel the music kind of building up, building ahead of steam. We hear this dotted idea. That kind of thing. And then we have another kind of stirring tune in the cellos and the violas, kind of a brief snippet which we'll hear a lot of in the development. Always reminds me kind of Tchaikovsky, the 1812 overture or something. Listen out for that later. And that's combined with that idea. Then the music kind of flies off the handle like a spinning top, gone out of control. We're now moving into a transition where we have this idea. We don't hear this tune again, we only hear it in the Exposition. Then we're into the second subject, which begins in B minor. So we have this. And underneath that we have these triplets. Sounds like a kind of a mechanical toy in operation. A bit like Dvorak's Golden Spinning Wheel tone poem. That's got a similar triplet idea in that. We have these exciting horn calls here as well. We then have this rather jolly festive sounding idea. And then a brief Codetta, which reminds us of the bird call from the first subject. Da, 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 da. This movement's one of those where the development begins just like the exposition. So we think we're going to get a repeat of the exposition. A bit like Brahms's Fourth Symphony, if you know the first movement of that work. We hear that lovely tune again. I remember that cello tune right at the beginning of the piece. We start to hear the bird calls again on the flute. But then the horn, 3 Ps, very quiet, throws in a moment of doubt with an F. So we've kind of got a G7th chord there. There's some uncertainty there. But then we go back to that dotted idea from the first subject. Remember this? But this time in F major. And we have this kind of dialogue between the strings and the winds. And then remember we had a snippet of a tune which I said sounded a bit like Tchaikovsky in the exposition, which went da 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 da. Well, we hear that again. This time over the top we have this lovely idea on the flute. Very pastoral, isn't it? Almost like we're in the Bohemian woods here or something. Then the music gets more serious. We have this this idea in stretto, really, that kind of overlaps in the orchestra, which again is that idea which we just heard underneath the flute. This time almost like it's going to be a subject for a fugue. So listen out for that, it's really exciting. Then the development comes closer and closer to this insanely exciting climax. I love this bit of the symphony. So we had that massive climax at the end of the development. We hear those horns, almost like, almost taken out of Wagner's Siegfried or something. That kind of thing. These kind of almost involuntary burps. And then we go into that first subject, that moving cello theme, this time on the trumpets. This symphony is a symphony for the trumpets. There's so many glorious trumpet passages in this symphony. This is one of them. And then underneath, the strings are going kind of bananas with these stormy chromatic scales. That kind of thing. Really exciting stuff. We hear the bird song again in the flutes. No transition tune this time. We're straight into that tune, second subject. We hear the other motifs from the second subject group. We come to the Codetta, which is extended this time, and we come to a thrilling coda based on that dotted idea from the first subject. The second movement, the Adagio, is a beautiful piece in C minor, and in terms of its form, it's, I suppose, nearest to a rondo. We have a tune that keeps coming back. By the way, if you want to follow the form more closely, I've put down the structure of each of the movements in the description with the bar numbers, so you can follow it with a score. So we begin with this tune, the A section. Something of the funeral march about this music, perhaps recalling something of Beethoven's Eroica. But being Dvorak, we suddenly have birdsong in this first A section as well, with this idea. Then we come back to the first tune again in this A section with this outpouring of hysterical grief. With those bird calls again underneath, this time in the violins. By contrast, we come to a sunny section, the B section, which is in C major, the tonic major, and we hear these delightful descending scales. We hear this tune. Lovely music. Yeah, again, that kind of folky outdoor feel to it. We have a fortissimo return to the funeral march music. Stirring stuff. We then have a development section, the C section really in the scheme of this movement, which is really developing that that march idea. We have a return to that sunny B idea with the descending scales. And then we have a coda to round off this moving second movement. The third movement is I absolutely love. I think it's one of the most beautiful scherzo movements in any symphony. And the A section just has this achingly melancholic melody. I always think, you know, for me it sounds like I can picture a scene of kind of strolling through Paris on a rainy day, listening to this music. We have this idea. It's in G minor. this idea as well. I just love this movement so much. Then the trio, the middle section, just kind of skips along, again very folky, very Czech. We have this, this lovely tune in G major. Of course, eventually we come back to etc. Dvorak does have one surprise up his sleeve in this movement. In the Coda, we suddenly go into a very fast, lively dance. The finale, the Allegro man un troppo, is just such great fun. It's in a ternary form, with the outer sections being really a set of theme and variations. We begin with this, again the trumpets, with this, this wonderful call. And then we have this very noble tune based on that trumpet fanfare. And we have the same tune at a faster pace. Something like that. Really such fun music. So yeah, it's like a theme and variation to this A section. We have a transition based on that, a brief transition, which takes us to the B section in C minor. And this is one of my favourite bits in the whole symphony. I love this, and I'll tell you why I love it. First of all, we have this folky tune. And then we have this wonderful descending chromatic chord sequence. I mean, I just love this bit. It's kind of like this. Going down a semitone. I think it's lovely. We then have a return to A with these, some more variations on that original theme before the music comes to a rousing and thrilling coda. I'd just like to thank Mihai Todoran, hopefully I pronounced that right, for suggesting that I look at this piece. Thank you for that, Mihai. And if anyone would like me to look at a piece, please put it in the comments below and I'll add it to my list. Thanks for watching. Please click like and subscribe. All the best. Bye.